There's nothing more universally Asian than a steaming bowl of rice. It's something all Asian cultures share. The aroma, the look, and taste recall a rich history and a sense of home.
What I feel when I see a steaming bowl of freshly cooked rice, I mean, it just has to be my mom.
For some reason, I feel like, oh, is it as good as my mom's? You know, or did I make that myself? Did someone else make that for me?
Every day at 5 o'clock, you could smell the hot water boiling and the steam wafting out of apartment 507 down 8th Avenue South. And I knew it was time to come home from the playfield.
Like rice, the Wing Luk Museum provides us with a sense of home, a place that holds the memories, artifacts, and stories of lives long past. It's a place that is home to our history.
I'm Steffi Morrison. I'm the collections manager at the Wing Luk Museum. I help oversee our really rich and diverse collection of objects, photographs, archives. I've only worked here for just about a year, but honestly, in that time, I feel some of those same feelings of a home when I'm here. There's literally stuff everywhere. And a lot of these objects that end up coming into our collection, these have been in people's families for sometimes generations. And so they hold a lot of story within an object. Our collection, it's full of all these really personal stories. And so, yeah, I feel really humbled when someone wants to be part of that. And again, when they trust us to take on that role.
Sometimes, coming home yields results we never imagined. For Elena Lim, who grew up in Seattle's Chinatown, a connection was made that changed her life. She'd never been a regular patron of the Wing, but during a tour of the museum with her son, she saw a book on display. What she read on the page of this ledger would change her life.
When I first came across my grandfather's name in the Gungyik stock journal, I was scared. It said this stock certificate had been given to a man named Art Wing in August 11th, 1911. My father told us that my grandfather had come in 1920. So at first, your mind goes through this can't be real, this can't be happening. But there was this overwhelming sense that I had that this was a solemn moment and I needed to pay attention. So my body is shaking. I call my mom on my cell phone and I tell her, I'm reading this journal that's behind this glass case. And she tells me, when your dad died, there's this box that I couldn't bring myself to throw out. There was stuff in there from your grandma's apartment. Let me call you back. And she called me back 10 minutes later and confirmed she was holding the original stock certificate made out to Art Wing on August 11th, 1911. And there was just this fear that I was given a secret and I needed to do something with it, and I didn't know what to do.
What Elena did was immerse herself in the Wing and volunteer to work with the museum to develop the Apartment 507 exhibit that is part of the historic hotel tour. 507 shows what immigrant life was like in Seattle's Chinatown, an experience Elena is turning into a book about growing up in Chinatown and the life lessons she learned.
My experience really exemplifies the power of the museum, and it makes me feel so proud of my culture and my heritage, and it makes me so sad for what our immigrant ancestors went through to be able to give us the luxuries that we have in life today.
Some journeys come full circle. Rowdy is a Chamorro artist who worked at the Wing. His experience here connected him deeply with his culture, Pacific Islander culture that is generally underrepresented.
Yeah, I think the museum was the first place that asked me to think about myself and think about my family, think about where I come from, which I thought was really, really important. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things that make this place feel like home.
Rowdy has come home to the wing as part of the Guma Gala exhibit, a queer Chamorro art collective made up of members from the Mariana and in the diaspora. The exhibit reaffirms their existence, stories, and experiences within the broader AAPI community.
So emotionally, I thought it was really beautiful, and I loved sharing the story of the museum with others. And I loved when people came here, they just felt an instant connection to like a place, even though this place is not maybe where they grew up in, but it felt like a place that we could be welcomed in. And I think that's such a powerful thing, especially as folks who live in the diaspora, finding places that welcome you, right? Welcome you where you feel safe, where you can feel like you can bring parts of yourself fully and in like curious ways. I remember when I was working here, and one of the statistics I always thought was fascinating was about how many museums there are in this country. And I heard that there are more museums in this country than there are McDonald's and Starbucks combined. And then I think about, well, how many of those museums tell our own stories? I would think less than a dozen. And so when I think about how important it is for places like this to exist, I feel grateful that they do exist. Excited that they exist, and I'm looking forward to more of these spaces to grow.
It's not just a home, a physical home for objects and artifacts and archives and books and photographs. It's not just that physical home, it's that kind of emotional and collective home.
I think coming home means for me humility. I think there's a sense of what can I offer back to places that I call home? Like what can I give back?
Like a bowl of rice, the Wing Luke is universal and holds our artifacts, stories, and memories. Like Rowdy, we can all give back by coming home to the Wing.